Hey there, this is Sherry Kirchhoff with Hippie Click to Cope. This is almost a business video. Right now I'm in the process of dealing with pods moving in storage as, basically making them admit to the fact that they defrauded me out of my belongings when we fled human trafficking, and are now defrauding me out of money in order to hold the belongings that they stole from me. So it's really a ridiculous situation, and I'm standing my ground on it. I haven't been paying them to have my stolen belongings for about half a year now, and so now they're going to sell my belongings to the highest bidder after obtaining them through fraud. So this is going to be my little expose of their operation. So if they were running a legitimate company where they safely stored and delivered your goods like they promised, then we wouldn't be having this issue. So in this age of accountability, the only way to fix an issue with a corporation is to expose that issue, make people aware of what's going on. And it'll also keep, other vulnerable families like mine from having to go through this themselves. So, I hope I'm able to help someone with this. And, that's the main reason I'm putting this out there. So, thank you very much. And, hey, have a blessed day and enjoy. I will attempt to fix the volume on the representative's end of the call. It's coming through very quiet on this video, so hopefully my editing will, fix that. Okay, I actually succeeded in increasing the volume on the PODS representative's voice on the speakerphone. So I went through, I was able to do it without editing the video itself, but just the sound accompanying it. This app is really fabulous. So I will send a share link in the description of this video to download this video editing app. It's really quite magical. So yeah, I was able to get this conversation clearly presentable to you so you understand fully what's going on with pods moving in storage and what kind of criminal crap they will pull in order to make their bottom line happen. So, up to and including defrauding families and businesses, embezzling thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and then a bunch of money. So in a legible format, here we go. Hello, my name is Sherry Kirchhoff. I have been attempting to get hold of someone in your straight answers department regarding the return of my household and business belongings that your company stole from me by committing fraud with regards to your service locations. One of your collections specialists, she calls herself Diamond, has lied at me about attempting to get hold of me, and when I attempted to explain the problem I'm having with your company, she hung up on me rather than doing anything to assist me or transferring me to someone who can.
May I have your account number, phone number, ma'am, so I can take a look and see what's going on?
Through a bit of attempt of editing, I cut out the part where I gave them the personal identifying information that would connect them to my account. So now that they're in, I'm going to be able to deal with them on the issue I'm having. So let's continue. All right, the problem I've been having is that your company committed fraud by lying about their service locations in order to get my business and my belongings, not only for my household, but for my jewelry business. And so in that process, you have retained my belongings and made them inaccessible to me through fraud, through dishonesty, without which you wouldn't have my belongings. I would have loaded up a U-Haul and brought them up here myself. And so in my attempts to get hold of someone, in order to retrieve my belongings, I've been hung up on, disconnected, lied at, and all manner of bull roar. So I need this to be resolved, because now your staff is threatening to put my belongings on auction after having stolen everything I own and a bunch of money in order to secure my belongings and keep them from me.
Okay, yes, I do see the account is set for auction on the 11th of this month.
Diamond lied at me, your collection specialist, about trying to get hold of me about this. My phone is on me at all times, so if she attempted to get hold of me on this, I would have answered the calls. So when a call came in today, I answered it. And then I explained what the situation is, and she hung up on me, resulting on a long hold time while I got connected with you.
Yeah, it looks like she's been calling to the number that you were calling us on since March. And it looks like she's been trying to email, but your email has been full apparently. So like I said, you are scheduled for auction on the 11th of May, and the only way to be fooled is by paying the balance that's currently owing on the account.
Well, see, that's the problem. Your company stole my belongings based on, lying about your service locations. And now you're keeping my belongings from me and charging me more and more money in order to hold on to belongings that your company obtained through fraud.
What do you mean by we obtained it through fraud?
Your sales representative lied about service locations. My family fled human trafficking in Denver, Colorado, which is why my belongings are in Aurora, Colorado. I was informed, dishonestly, that if my family would be unable to arrive safely in Canada, that you have service areas all over the U.S., you could bring my belongings wherever it is I land. So my family is currently in Cutbank, Montana, and I have come to find out that you don't have any service locations between Denver, Colorado, and here. In fact, you have no service locations between Denver, Colorado, and Edmonton, Alberta. So that has kept my belongings from me. I can't safely go to Denver. There's a serial rapist who would kill me and my child on sight. So I can't go to Denver. That's why we fled. And another moving company won't move the belongings from a PODS facility because that's some intercompany mess and no one wants to get involved. And your staff won't bring me my stuff as was promised. And so I'm being charged money every month for you to keep belongings that you only obtained because your sales team lied at me about what services you provide and where. If your staff hadn't lied at me about what services you provide, you wouldn't have gotten my belongings. I would have loaded up a U-Haul or a Penske truck or any sort of rental cargo truck, and I would have brought the stuff up here myself. But I was lied at about, oh, don't worry, you can trust us to keep your belongings safe and get them to you, whether you land in Alberta or anywhere in the U.S. So at the point where if you were running a legitimate operation and would actually bring me my stuff as you're supposed to, as was promised, then it would be reasonable to demand money for services. But as it is, your company obtained everything I own for my household and my jewelry business. So there's gemstones, there's valuable stuff in there. And you're going to sell it at auction because I can't continue to pay you to hold something from me that I own that you illegally obtained through fraud. So at that point where you've committed fraud to obtain everything I own, and you're demanding money in order to continue keeping it from me, that's not a legitimate operation. That becomes coercion and blackmail, because if I don't keep shelling you out money to hold my belongings away from me and not give them to me, I'm paying you to steal my stuff. So that's not acceptable by any means. I need the belongings that your company stole from my family and my company.
Okay, so when you did start with our services, it was explained to you, and I'm pretty sure you were sent a contract to sign. So I don't think anything is being done illegally or as you're stating. And the only way you can get your belongings is by paying off the balance that is currently owed, which is in 2 days. So, I mean, there's no other way to go around this. If you are wanting more assistance, like I said, you are scheduled for auction. The balance has to be paid off to go past that. But otherwise,
you've stolen everything I own.
was explained to you, ma'am.
No, everything was explained to me dishonestly in your service locations and everything else. If your sales rep hadn't lied to me about bringing my belongings, oh, we serve anywhere in the U.S., we could bring it to Alberta, we could bring it to wherever you land in the U.S., we got you, your stuff's safe with us, we'll bring it right to you. If your sales rep hadn't lied about that, you wouldn't have gotten my business. That's where this problem all started. So if you were running a legitimate operation where you would have actually had a service location to bring my stuff to, instead of lying at me about that, then, my stuff would have been here in June of last year instead of held up in your facility for the past 11 months, and now you're going to sell the things that you illegally obtained by lying to me about your service locations. So you committed fraud against my family, and you committed embezzlement against my business, and now by demanding money to continue holding on to belongings that you've detained from me illegally, that if it were a legitimate business operation you are running, it would be completely reasonable to demand that a bill be paid. But what you've done is you've stolen everything I own under false pretenses. And now you're demanding more money in order to not get rid of everything I own for more money that you would earn at auction. So by doing that, you're committing coercion and blackmail. So not only have you stolen everything I own, but you've stolen thousands of dollars, and now you're going to steal more money in order to keep my belongings that you've already stolen from me, that you've refused on many times, you and your staff. You aren't going to even bring it to me, even though your sales rep promised you would. So this is why we have a problem here. It's not reasonable to demand money for something that you've already stolen and refused to give back, even though your company has promised to give me my belongings. Using fraud. By making a fake promise of your service locations, etc. In order to get business that you would not have otherwise gotten if your sales rep would have simply been honest. I would have loaded up a truck myself and brought my stuff up here. But your staff lied to me about your services you provide, thereby resulting in you taking control of everything I own for my household and my business. And now you're using blackmail and coercion to get more money in order to keeping my stuff that you obtained through fraud.
I don't think it's called blackmail. We haven't received a payment in almost 6 months, so once our customers are past due, they are scheduled for auction at a certain point. And it does look like we've been calling you since December, going way before that, advising of your past due balance.
I answer calls when they come in. I answer calls when they come in, even from 855 numbers. You know, I answer calls, even from 720 numbers, even though those are mostly telemarketers. Because I have so many caseworkers and whatnots that need to get hold of me, I answer my phone. So you're not going to lie at me about that too then.
Okay.
So that's why we have a problem here. And you need to give me the belongings that you stole that I was paying 6 months for you to hold from me illegally. You wouldn't have gotten my stuff or my money if your staff wouldn't have lied about the services you provide. That's where this all started.
Well, we can't give you that container until we receive a payment for the balance owed.
So that's coercion, because you've committed an invalid, fraudulent act to even obtain my stuff. And now if I don't give in to your demands for more and more money, you're going to sell my belongings for my household and my business to the highest bidder, because that's your company policy. Defrauding families, embezzling belongings from businesses, and retaining them illegally from their rightful owners, and then selling them to the highest bidder on some crap like Storage Wars. So that's what you're calling me to inform me of, and that I have no recourse to fix this unless I give in to your demands for money. I'm scheduled for auction because I'm not continuing to pay you to retain items that you've refused to give to me because you lied about your service locations. What sense does it make to give you money to hold on to belongings that you're not going to give me, that you stole from me? I'm going to pay you to rob everything I own? What kind of legitimate business operation is that?
You would pay us to get your container back.
Are you actually going to give the container? You're going to have somebody bring it to Cut Bank? Because if you would have had somebody bring it to Cut Bank, I wouldn't have been paying from June through December.
Not deliver the container to? No.
What was that?
You can also have access to your container. Actually, your container's inventory, so we can't deliver it out at all. So you would have to schedule access to your container.
So I need to schedule a time to come back to Denver to where my serial predator is attempting to find and kill me, which is why I fled Denver to begin with. You're refusing to bring me my belongings after promising that this is what your company does. You store and ship belongings as we move across the country, across the planet. And now you're telling me that you're not even going to... You're just going to keep holding my stuff in an unsafe area instead of doing what your company does and bringing my belongings. So you've just admitted that you're not going to provide any service. You're just going to keep demanding money in order to hold on to belongings that you detained illegally through fraud.
I didn't say that specifically. I just said if we don't receive a payment, your container will be auctioned off.
Now, just a minute ago, you said that you wouldn't even bring me my stuff, that I'd only have access to it in Denver because it's in inventory and you don't deliver things that are in inventory.
Correct. That means we cannot move the container.
That means that you lied about providing a service to bring a container of belongings. And you've made my belongings inaccessible to me. That's what you're telling me. You're admitting that your company committed fraud and that you've stolen everything I own. And now you're demanding money in order to keep holding on to items that you've stolen.
It's still sitting in the container that you rented from us, but it will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, like you're stating, if we do not receive a payment.
And if you do receive a payment,
will you actually bring the belongings that your company promised to bring?
If we receive a payment on your account, ma'am, it's already been inventoried since March, which means we cannot deliver that container. So we're not holding anything from you.
Yeah, you're literally holding it from me. You just said you're holding it from me. If you're
holding anything from you, we just can't deliver the container.
I can't go to Denver to go pick it up. Why do you think we fled Denver? There's a serial rapist who would come for me if I get anywhere near the state of Colorado again. That's why we fled. And that's why we needed your company with the services you provide to bring us our belongings. And now you're telling me that you provide no service. I wouldn't have been paying you from June through December to hold on to stuff that you weren't going to even give me back. You stole everything I own, and now you're stealing money in order to keep holding on to the items that you stole from me, and you're trying to make this make sense. You're trying to justify stealing everything I own and a whole bunch of money. I paid you people for 6 months to hold on to my stuff while I was attempting to get hold of a straight answers department to get my stuff back, while being told over and over again, oh no, you don't actually provide that service. You don't have any service locations between Denver, Colorado, and Edmonton, Alberta, which made my stuff lost to me to begin with. Because your sales staff lying about actually having service locations. What kind of knucklehead would give you people everything they own if they actually knew that they were never going to see any of their belongings again? I would have donated my stuff to Goodwill before I gave it to you people, and then gave you a bunch of money to quote-unquote keep it safe, while actually detaining it from me and making it impossible for me to ever have access to my belongings again. Do you see the problem that your company has created? And now you're threatening to get rid of everything I own if I don't give you more money. That's coercion and blackmail. If you were doing a legitimate business where you actually shipped and delivered belongings that you took, then it would be reasonable to expect payment for a service. But you're not providing a service. What you did was steal everything I own. Everything from my household and everything from my business. So that's not only defrauding a family, but that's embezzling from a company. So that's some serious issues, which is why your staff has been spending all these months either hanging up on me, disconnecting, not leaving messages, not actually calling. You're saying they've been calling, but I actually answer my phone when it rings because I have a lot of important calls I need to answer. If I ignore important calls, I miss out on opportunities for my business, for my daily life. So I answer my phone like a responsible adult. So you're not going to lie at me and tell me that y'all have been attempting to call me, because you haven't been. You actually did today, and I answered. And when I explained what the situation was, your representative in collections, Diamond, who she calls herself, hung up on me. So here I am now after being on hold for half an hour talking to you, where you admitted that you've detained my stuff, you're not going to deliver it, but you're still demanding money in order to keep my stuff from me that your company has stolen. And you're justifying this. So I thank you for your admission, but you've really put yourself in a lot of hot water, you and your company. In admitting that you don't deliver belongings, you've admitted that you committed fraud in order to obtain my belongings.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you said that. You're going to auction off my stuff because I'm refusing to pay you for a service that you lied about providing. What kind of idiot would give you money after giving you all their belongings if you would have been honest about not even providing a service? You lied about your services in order to even get my business and my belongings. And as a result, you've stolen everything I own and thousands of dollars in quote-unquote service fees for a service that you lied about providing it from the beginning. So thank you very much. But as you record these calls for collection purposes, I've recorded this call for fraud deterrence. It's going to become known what your company does in order to make a profit. You defraud families and embezzle from companies, steal everything we own and every dollar that we throw at you, and that's how you make your way. And then you sell what we own to the highest bidder. So thank you very much.
That's what an option.
Yep, that's what you're doing. You stole my stuff, you stole my money, and now you're selling my stuff that you obtained illegally. So anyone who buys my stuff will therefore be guilty of obtaining stolen goods.
Anything else I can assist you with?
You're going to assist me by connecting me with someone who's going to deliver the goods that you stole from me. That's what you're going to do. And if not, you're going to assist me by becoming famous on the internet because I'm going to expose your theft and fraud operation. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.